Filming Dreams of a Homeland was a great experience.
Done.
The first thing I have to mention is that I did not have a camera crew, as I am usually the cameraman and film material myself. But for this film, I needed to be in front of the camera. So Eric, a friend of mine, who accompanied me to Ganj, was the stand-in cameraman for shots where I was in the frame or delivering lines to the camera. I gave him a day's training on the operation and use of the camera, and as you can see, he did an excellent job. I tried to film the project in a way that the audience would feel that they are spending one full day in Ganj, whereas in reality, I spent almost 2 weeks shooting the various sequences at different times of the day. That was really challenging. Filming this entrance scene had its own set of challenges. The first step was to ensure that I had my markers correct, and when the camera panned and I began delivering my lines, it had to include the sign, "Welcome to Ganj." And I also had to ensure I was in the frame. So after we did a practice test shot, I got ready. And as I was about to say my lines, a cyclist decides to ride past.
No, it's not coming like this, Eric.
Of course, shooting anywhere in the world, and especially in India, always draws a crowd, and soon enough, one gathered here, including some buffaloes and a dog. Finally, we completed the shot on take 5.
Welcome to Ganj. Is it okay?
The other issue we faced were interruptions as we were about to shoot. Like this shot where I'm about to deliver my lines and a local friend arrives, driving past in his car, right through the frame. Or the scene where I am to walk towards a sign and say some lines to the camera, and a local gentleman walks past me, right between me and the camera.
Okay, one more time.
While there was the local traffic to contend with, sometimes animals joined in too. Thank you, Mrs. Cow. One of the funny things that happened was when I went to interview Kitty Texera. The plan was that I would drive up, speak a few lines to the camera and drive on. I was so engrossed in the scene, ensuring I had my lines and markers correct, that I forgot to look ahead at the mango tree with its low branches, and I went right into it. There was also the time when I was filming in the old brick factory, and I went into the abandoned furnace. What I did not know was that the locals use it as a toilet, and the place was stinking. The expression on my face says it all. Making the film was also very physically demanding. There were many locations where there were no roads or paths, and our vehicle could only go till a certain point, and then we had to walk. So there was a lot of walking and hiking involved during very hot days through some dense undergrowth. While searching for this old bungalow, I ended up with many scratches and bruises and cuts from the thorny bushes, and of course, we had to carry the camera and tripod around everywhere. So it was quite physically demanding and tough. There were some frustrating times, like the scene where I am reading some lines from the magazine and the lights on my camera starts playing up and it starts flickering at random moments. So every few seconds, as I'm in the middle of recording, the light starts flickering. It was really frustrating. Finally, the problem sorted itself out and I was able to complete the sequence.
Cigarettes and alcohol.
It was probably one of the most frustrating sequences to record.
What to turn on my bike?
Another issue I faced was when I was recording at the old railway cabin. The plan was to walk along the railway tracks and deliver lines to the camera. However, when I reviewed the footage, I realized that the overhead power lines were interfering with my microphone, and the sound was not getting recorded properly. The only solution was that I had to dub the segment in a sound studio. While filming this segment, The daily passenger train service to Maklasskiganj was approaching, so I got to record the train. Note the cycle hanging outside the window.
Oh, there goes the train.
Finally, this was the sequence that caused me the most trouble, and I had to shoot it over 9 times to get it right. The sequence was that I was to alight from the car and walk into the gate of the bungalow. That went well. Next, I was to walk down the driveway of the bungalow and speak to the camera. That did not go well at all. Like always, the first is a practice shot to make sure I'm in the frame and within my set markers. As I start the first take,
Community leaders encouraged Anglo-Indians to assimilate with other communities in a future independent India. Others encouraged emigration.
I messed up the lines. On this take, I completely forgot what to say.
I forgot what to say.
Meanwhile, a local lady came to fill water and her young son was struggling to use the pump. And moreover, the sound of the pump was too loud and interfering with the audio. So I went to help them finish pumping the water.
While some community leaders encouraged Anglo-Indians to assimilate and become a part of a future independent India, others encouraged emigration to Western democracies. A third option was the creation.
And I make a mistake while saying my lines.
A third option was the creation of settlements exclusively for Anglo-Indians. The most famous of these settlements
I didn't
was
like the fact
Maklasskiganj.
that my back was facing the camera while I was still speaking.
A third option was the creation of settlements exclusively for Anglo-Indians.
Hesitation while delivering my lines.
While some community leaders encouraged Anglo-Indians to assimilate and become a part of a future
I did finally get it right and used a combination of 2 sequences from among the 9 different
A
takes.
third option was the creation of settlements or colonies exclusively for Anglo-Indians.
Overall, it was a great experience and a fun trip.